That's what $10 buys you right there, folks. That's a cool, crisp 10 for you. And y'all remember that. So some fivers for some golf claps, 20 if you stand. So I'm kidding. I got no money on me. I'm Canadian. I got nothing left. I've been in New York City for 2 weeks, so I'm out of everything. And I'm grumpier. And I was in a cab. This won't be stand-up, don't worry. But it's a great reflection story for speakers to do. Staying in your Chelsea market, because here is insane. And on Saturday, I'm driving down, and I'm looking around. It's so busy. And I'm looking around saying, well, what's with all the tourists? I'm a tourist, so but I've been here 2 weeks, so I'm actually really, really bitter about people in my city, which isn't my city. So welcome. Welcome to the session that we're not going to talk about leads at all, or how to generate them. That's just for you right there, by the way, because I don't want them to walk out. This is kind of a little bit different than probably what most of the stuff you're used to seeing here, other than me being spaz. It's about an audience, and the problem is what I found walking through the exhibit hall, seeing what the other sessions were, was a lot of talks was about leads, was about ROI, about churn rates, and how to get more people into your funnel, into your system. And not a hell of a lot talked about people and relationships. And that's what we're talking about today. But not in like a frou-frou, we are the world, let's hold hands type of way. But more of a, we are still human. And human nature and human rules don't change. So that's what we're talking about today. I have a couple unrules for you today. Very, very simple, not that hard at all. Number one, please turn on your phone. I would like it to be on. I'd like you to tell people about it, tweet about it, Facebook about it, awkwardly Friendster about it, whatever you want to do. Do what you got to do. I want you to tell people that if they're not here, they should be here. Keep the ringer on only if I like the ringtone. Okay? If it's Kesha TikTok, I'm going to throw your phone. Okay, so just warn it. You can roll the ringtone dice. If I like it, I'll dance. If not, I'll pick it up and put it on the speaker and we'll talk together. So if you want to tweet it up, it's me, it's UnMarketing. I should change my legal name from Scott to UnMarketing because that's all I'm actually known by now. I want you to tell people that you're here. I believe that a speaker should be very simple. I want to make it so good you don't want to miss anything, so you don't want to use your phone. But it's so good that you want to tell people about it and what's happening. It's like going to be a mental mind screw for you going on that you don't know what to do today. So, if you take anything away, it's going to be a couple main things. If they're in real big, bold letters on there, that means it's a takeaway. And this one is probably the biggest thing I could tell you right now, which is marketing is not a task. Marketing is not a department in your company. Marketing isn't an action item on a list of to-dos for your affiliate program, your newsletter, your conglomerate, or your adult site that you don't call it that anymore. Marketing is every single time you interact, have a touch point or a talk point with any audience. See the difference there? Not just your audience, not just the people in front of your booth, okay, in an expo hall. Every time you talk to somebody, every time you talk on Twitter, every time you talk to me at an open bar party on a rooftop and spit while you talk with your badge still on and your company golf shirt. Thank you, sir. You understand that every time we have a relationship or talk to somebody or communicate, we are marketing. That means every single person in your company is a marketer, regardless. Okay? Steve Vai, one of my favorite artists. Any rock fans here? Any Steve Vai or any kind of rock fans here who know Steve Vai? He's got a song called The Audience is Listening, and that rule has changed. The audience is no longer just listening, they're talking. The audience has created the conversation now. And it doesn't matter if you want to listen to it or hear it, it's just happening. And really, your opinion is irrelevant when it comes down to these things. So my whole world is about this. If you believe that business is built on relationships, make building them your business. End of story. If you truly believe that rule is true, if you truly believe this, and this is what I go to bed with thinking, it's kind of sad, but people do business with people they know, like, and trust. Yes? Yes? No? Say no, I don't care. It's okay. Right? Of course it is, yeah? You do. So what are you doing, everybody here right now, what are you doing to increase those three things on a daily basis? Think about it. What are you doing to increase those three silos with your marketplace, with your industry peers, within your company, with people totally unrelated to your industry. We do have to get outside of our industry once in a while, please. Please. I have to get off Twitter once in a while. There's humans out there and lives and things. Get outside of your industry. It's the only way we grow an industry is to get outside of it. That's what we need to do. If you believe these are the three things that build relationships, what are we going to do to increase those three things? I did a test. Okay, I'm going to give you my background real quick. I came from the viral marketing world. I'm still in it, which is also known sometimes as internet marketing, kind of like the cesspool of online world. You're welcome, because pretty much everybody in here is in the same industry as well, even though you don't know it or not. I was an affiliate before I knew I was an affiliate. I just sold somebody else's thing and I got a cut. The word affiliate's ridiculous sometimes. You know that, right? That you shouldn't be using the word affiliate for most things in front of your own marketplace, unless they are people who are looking for affiliates. We don't need that term. I started off 8 years ago making the motivational videos that you might have seen online. Anybody seen them? They're like slideshows, pictures, text, horrible cheesy music. Your aunt passes them on to you and says, "Thinking of you." And you watch it and it makes you want to throw up. That was me. We've made 95% of those motivational movies online right now, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We've made 70 of them, and they work really well. And I'm sorry. Our top one had 45 million views. Made the client $27 million. I had no back end. I had no affiliate for that. FML. So I decided I'm going to change it up. I'm going to get into more of UnMarketing and social media type of stuff. And I started doing a lot of this stuff a couple years ago. And I decided, hang on a second. I want to see who's actually building up know, like, and trust. A newsletter is a great way to do that, right? Like a blog. You know, newsletter's like a blog, except it was back in the old days, and we still have some now. I wanted to realize how many newsletters actually had news. How many people were giving knowledge unconditionally? That's the best way I built my business, by the way, is to, can you hear me okay? Did the microphone die? It went down? That's a good thing, right? I don't think I even need it, but okay. So, one of the things about newsletters is very simple. I wanted to see how much had news still in them, okay? I want to see how much news was left in the newsletters because I realized it was dead or dying. So I signed up for 40 different, on a totally random Gmail address, not my own, I'm not that stupid, 40 random internet marketers' newsletters, okay? For 6 months, I went through them all. Ouch. Do you know how many of them contain actual standalone helpful tips and news that I'm supposed to sign up for? That was actually the selling point. Helpful tips and news about building your business. No strings attached. Do you know how many had standalone content? Let's not be pessimistic. Let's not say zero. Okay, zero. You're right. Not one. Why do you think I hate people so much? Not one. Every single, even the cool stories that's like, I remember back in my day and they related to their children or they related to their husband or their wife and they brought you down the storytelling. You're like, oh, this is so great. And at the end, it's an affiliate link for something. Stop. People, please, you're killing kittens. People are dying inside when they read these things. Every single one led to an affiliate product or their own product or somebody else's. Stop it. Please, for the love of the world, we need to stop it. So I had to get away from that. You can't call it a newsletter. It should be against the law. There's no news other than give me money. That was their only news, and there was no unconditional standalone away. So viral marketing itself, viral marketing has changed. Okay, not why we spread something around, but how we spread something around. Viral marketing can work great, but why we spread it has never changed. Nobody ever spreads mediocrity. Nobody ever sees a post. By the way, I changed the black background on that just so you could see the spit flying from his mouth. And I paid $42 for that iStock photo. You know they changed their prices, right? I can't stand it. So there you go, $42 right there. It's going to stay on for at least 9 minutes to get my money's worth of it. Nobody ever does this. Nobody ever gets your newsletter, your blog post, or your affiliate update for everybody and says, whoa, Jeff, hey, check, I'm going to forward this to you. It's pretty, meh. If there's a Facebook meh button, they'd be pressing it, right? I'm indifferent to this update in this blog. You should go read it right now. Nobody ever rushes to read nothing. Nobody ever tells their friends to read normalcy. We spread great content. You want an SEO tip, by the way? I'm going to just between you and me, okay? I know nothing about SEO. Nothing. Except for the fact that the best SEO is to write great damn content. You want hits? You want people to come to your site and spread your site? Write great content. Ta-da! That's how it works. Well, Scott, we got to load in keywords, and we got to front end this, and then we can do this, and then we can kind of cloak our affiliate. Like, stop it again. We're so scared to actually do something that has content in it. We're so scared to actually do something with value. Stop trying to trick things. Well, Google changed their thing. I don't care. You know, Google's changed their algorithms like 427 times in 3 years. Hasn't affected me much because I don't care, and I'm too dumb to figure it out anyways and how it works. It's okay. People spread awesome. There's your tweetable thing right there. Trademark. It'll be on a t-shirt next time, by the way. So affiliate Vegas, yeah, we'll do it. I'll have that t-shirt. People spread awesome in Vegas. That'd be weird with all the disease. So people spread awesome stuff. They go around and spread great content, and that's the only way it works. And in viral marketing, when we made those videos, if you want to check it out, there's like the dashmovie.com. That's the example of the huge one that happened. We made affiliates versions of the videos. So they sold a gift book at the end of it, and their video went viral. But the videos itself had to spread emotion. It can't be a commercial. And people come to me and say, well, we got to spread these things. Scott, you're a viral guy, right? Which is awkward depending on the context you say it in. Here, Scott, here's our video. Can you just viral it up for us? Like it's a verb. It's like I'm Harry Potter. Ta-da! It's great. Everybody's going to watch it. We don't choose what goes viral. The audience does. They choose what to spread. The how they spread it's different than 10 years ago from when we kind of started. 10 years ago it was 98% email pass around was how these videos went around. Millions and millions and millions. Now email counts for maybe 20%. Think of that shift for a second. Maybe 20%. The rest, social media, social bookmarking, all those type of things. So from Dig and Reddit and Twitter and Facebook and even spreading it through blogs, people share content within their circle now, publicly. Does that make sense? So when you say to me, here's a YouTube video, it's awesome, but no, you can't embed it on your own site, that's a big F you. Let me spread it to my circle. It's actually better for your video to be spread on somebody else's blog because it's within their realm and in their trust, and they're more likely to promote it. I don't get companies that don't let you do that. I don't get it. No, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna let you talk about me. I'm sorry, you can't spread that. That's ridiculous. Don't do it. Let it out there, let it go. This is how we get spread now. This is how things move around, and the shift has been so quick. It's been amazing how it works. But here's kind of the key point for this whole session to me, is that line right there. That social media success doesn't exist, and I'll explain once I have a sit. Awkward pause. Social media does not make something successful. That's tweetable too. Understand? Does that make sense? Social media doesn't make anything successful. The content does. Social media is one of the vehicles. People are like, well, I want to have Twitter success. Well, then do something good. Do something worth talking about. Scott, can you tweet this for me? Shut up. It sucks. Why would I spend my whole freaking last 2 years on Twitter to spread your crap? If you suck, you just suck harder in social media. It doesn't make you better. If you're an asshole, you're still an asshole on Twitter or on Facebook. It doesn't magically Peter Pan come down and say, you're wonderful now, and come out there. It doesn't happen that way. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't change anything. If your customer service stinks, it stinks exponentially out there. If you hate people, not a good place to be. Make sense? No? If you're one that says, if it wasn't for customers, I get so much more done, not a good place to hang out in. Not a good place to be because it's public. We don't want to do that. The thing though is so many choices. There's so many things out there now. It's almost hard. Where the hell do we start? There's too many choices. You can't justify the budget to your boss to spend 20 hours tweeting, 10 hours on Facebook, 10 hours blogging, 4 hours social bookmarking, and may or may not once in a while watch a crazy YouTube video. You can't justify it, so you have to pick it. And that's why I do something what's called platforming. Platforming is building an audience under one silo first. Stop trying to be everything everywhere because you'll be nothing to nobody. Build a platform. Choose which platform it's going to be, and then you build it. I chose Twitter. That was my bag. It doesn't have to be your bag, but it's mine. Because it was the lowest barrier to entry, the lowest barrier to relationship, and I didn't have to accept you as a friend to start talking to you, because it's awkward. Facebook, I'm on Facebook to talk to people in high school I never liked. That's what I do. They're tag me in awkward pics, and then we untag ourselves. It's like a little dance we do. So platforming is pretty basic. There's 3 stages of it. The first one is the hardest. It's getting traction. It's gaining traction. I'll give you my story very shortly about how I got traction through Twitter. This is where the dropout happens. This is where the leap of faith happens. This is where you or your boss has to trust you that this is going to work. Because nothing happens at the start. Who here's on Twitter? Hands up. Or has been on there, right? Who here went on Twitter first and went, well, this is stupid? Me. Yeah, yes. That's it. My whole crew here. Good. Everybody. The traction is the hardest. When you get on Twitter first and you tweet, you're like, hey, how's everybody doing? Hey, I just had tuna for lunch. You want to retweet, please? The RT, please, afterwards. Always awesome. Nothing happens, right? If you tweet and nobody replies or retweets, did it actually go out? I don't know. You ever checked your stream? Maybe it didn't go out. Let me just... Oh, it did. I just suck. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, that's no worries. That's what happens. Happened to me too. And I got on it, and I'll give you my story in a second, but traction is the hardest. Second is momentum. That's a cool phase. Where when you log back in, in the morning, like us Uber addicts in bed, the first thing I do every day is check Twitter on my BlackBerry. I know you do it right now, and you're just freezing. I don't do that. Yes, you do. You horizontal tweet. I know you do if you're in this room. I did first thing. Okay, let's see how relevant I am. All right, good. 7 replies overnight. Awesome. You get to momentum, it starts taking care of itself. Okay, so traction is so much outwards. So when I got on Twitter, again, I'll give you the stats in a second. When I got on there, my job was to go talk to people, go start conversations, go get them going. Momentum, they're coming into me much more. So the ratio changes a bit. And then here's a big part of it is the expansion. Once you get to a point where you've built up so much traction and momentum, then you can expand your platforms. Okay, my background 10, 15 years ago was the music business in Toronto. I managed bands in Toronto. Every person there wanted to play in a 40,000 seat stadium. Every musician. You can't play in front of 40,000 until you play in front of 40. They're like, oh, we're going to play Skydome. You can't fill 9 people on Wednesday night. You're not playing the big stadium. You've got to play to a small crowd until you get to a bigger one. And that's what I did for Twitter. I waited until I got 20,000 followers, then I launched my blog. I only launched my blog a year ago. I'm like 9 years late to the party. My first post had 10,000 readers. That was pretty good, I think. I don't know. It's my first blog, but it was a good thing. I got 112 comments. First one. Why? Because I built the following first. If I started Twitter with when I got on 1 follower and said, hey everybody, one person, hey you, here's my new blog post. Go read it. Doesn't work. You've got to invest your time. I call it your social currency. You got to invest your time, your knowledge, and your energy in a network first before you try to withdraw something from that network. And withdraw doesn't have to be just money. It can be go see my blog, go see this, my. You can't pull until you've given into it first. So my first job, my first 10,000 tweets, I tweeted 10,000 times before I ever pitched a thing. I'm sick in the head, I know. But I believe that the network would work that way. Here's my grid. This is the start. Watch this. $90 thing. I got a little laser light. Check it out. All right. That's when I started Twitter, April 08, up till just a few months ago. Where do you think I started seeing results in Twitter? Guess? I know it's not math class or anything, but the big bar means something. January 09. Here's where I started Twitter. Ready? Hopped on there and went, wow, this is pretty much stupid. But it's talking about me, so I can do that. Me. Wait a second. What should I do? Up to this point, I got 1,200 followers over 8 months. Learning about people, what they had for lunch. I thought it was stupid. We were all like, this is so lame. And then I went, wait a second, I'm going to give it a try. I don't want to be that marketing consultant who says, this is stupid because I don't use it. I had to use it. So I said, I'm going to live on Twitter for 30 days. Seriously. 30 days I'm going to live on Twitter. Eat, sleep, breathe Twitter, which is where you see that. And that number is almost 7,000 tweets. I lived it. I went from 1,200 followers to 10,000 followers in that month. That was before Ashton Kutcher and Oprah and everybody else. And you can see that the effectiveness of Twitter for me, my voice of Twitter, is directly proportional to how much I'm on Twitter. This isn't rocket science, people. The more I do, the more I give, the more I get. Very simple, yet we forget these things when we're talking very fancy talk. This is the key to my success, I think, on Twitter, though. One of the main ones. If you go to something like tweetstats.com, they'll analyze your tweets for you. I analyzed my tweets after I sent 50,000 of them. 75% of them were at replies to somebody else. So 38,000 of my tweets were points of conversation. How cool is that? That you can have 38,000 points of conversation with somebody? Not just one person, but a bunch of people. If you believe business is built on relationships, make building them your business. That's called a repeat from the first slide. But this is how it works. I believed relationships worked, so I had to go get them. Okay? My ROI on Twitter isn't just financial, it's everything. I profit financially, intellectually, emotionally, personally. Every funnel of return I get. But not once could I ever say, this one tweet will be worth $3 ROI. I never want to know what the ROI of a person is. I know that's kind of frou-frou of me. You know, it's kind of very happy pants of me not to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know hanging out with people who I've talked to on Twitter and I finally get to meet in person. I don't want to know what that's worth to me. That's ridiculous. It's relationships. Know, like, trust. It's a very basic funnel. Here's my Twitter cloud. Ooh, yeah. Yes, sir. It's a good question. So there's a lot of clutter nowadays. This is a while ago, and it was different. January '09 was different than what it is now. Oprah wasn't there, and Ashton Kutcher, and Justin Bieber, the Jonas Brothers. You know, Edelman came out with a ranking with the top 20 people on Twitter. It was 7 months ago. There's 2 Canadians, Justin Bieber and me. Thanks, Bieber. So you know what led the headline, right? Bieber rules Twitter. Like, I still hate him. I'll buy a CD, but I hate him. So back to your question, what do you do? The great thing about Twitter, though, is that it's user dependent. So we choose who to follow. So it's not like a news feed. Yeah, people follow a lot of people, but there's still voices. It's a little harder now, but you can still get the noise through as long as you do a couple things in focus. We still choose who to follow. We create that noise. We create that waterfall of too much. So it's finding the new people. It's finding people who are jumping on now. I'm talking more to them than I ever have. I don't talk to a heck of a lot of people I used to talk to a year and a half ago because they've grown and they've built and gone off and done their thing. It's a snapshot in time. So I choose who to follow. That was one of my biggest mistakes, by the way, on Twitter. I followed back automatically the first 30,000 people that followed me. I thought it was nice. I thought I was being courteous. I thought I was like a being nice guy. It's crap. I don't check my all Twitter stream. I get DM from morons all the time. 80% of the world are morons, and they're all following me. Not in this room. Everybody else outside there. Not you, of course. You know what I mean? Like spam bots and porn accounts, and they show up on who you're following. Yay! Not good. Yeah, I have a hidden list, my awesome sauce list. That's what I follow for the most part. There's about 150, 200 people on there. But anybody who replies to me, retweets to me, I see it, I notice it, and I'll talk if that makes sense. I don't thank everybody for a retweet. That gets a little ridiculous sometimes. But if somebody writes to me, I'll write them back. That's actually my biggest fear, is to fall out behind. I get a book's coming out, as a plug. Book's coming out in 3 weeks, and I got a 28-city book tour coming up. All booked through Twitter. All booked independently from every single city because I built relationships with those people. I might fall behind. That's my biggest fear. I built my platform on engagement, and I'm going to hate engagement. I feel like the last tour dating, we walk up and say, hey, go, screw yourselves. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Twitter stinks, and walk out the door, and that's going to be it. So I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go either. But right now, it's still working for me because I'm still talking with people. That's the tweet cloud of what I've said the most in those 50,000 tweets. You see things like thanks and awesome and Twitter and good. Okay, so Vegas is there too. But, but that's what it means, right? That's But remember, my personality works well for Twitter. I can't tell you to go and tweet 50,000 times and you'll have like 62,000 followers like I do. You can have more, you can have less. It doesn't change. My personality works for Twitter. So it makes sense. And how I got those followers quickly wasn't the @replies though. @replies built the relationships. What got me followers quickly was writing retweetable content. It was stuff under 120 characters, not 140. 120 characters, so when they retweeted it, they had space to add something to it. Their own comments. And I know the Twitter system now, within Twitter, you click one button, it'll send it all out. But I like my job, everything's in my brain under 120. Because they can leave space, because you can add your own comment. You can own the retweet. My job was to get retweeted every day, 3 to 5 times a day. I'd sit down and say, what could I say right now that would either be funny or helpful within my world, within my realm. And a lot of my stuff have to do with Twitter, so there's a lot of Twitter tips. Oh, TW, my brain, I'm sorry. But that's how it works, and that's how I got that following. That's how I got those leads out there. But be careful, okay? Be careful what you do in social media and online. I don't have to tell all of you this, because everything you do, say, can, and will be held against you in the court of public opinion, especially if you're in Vegas. Pole dancing. That's me, by the way. That's me at Blog World last year, pole dancing. By the time I got off the stage, it was already up online, and my mom saw it. So there you go. Mom got a bigger acknowledgement section of the book this time because of that. But that's what you have to be willing to do. So I understand when you're always your brand, right? That's okay. Luckily, my brand is being a jackass, so I'm okay with that. Like, that's okay for me. That's all. I actually posted it. I'm happy with it. It's my own picture. That works for my brand, but it might not work for yours. So you got to be careful what you say. Twitter especially, and Facebook, especially status updates, are very reactive based. Careful. Don't say or do or tweet anything you don't want to see on a billboard with your name, your face, your company logo, your mama, and your biggest client driving by. Because it'll be seen, it'll be shown, it'll be put up on a screen, or it'll be somebody like me who captures what you say and puts it up on a screen in a presentation like I am right now. Let's show you what happens here. So this is actually in the book too, which is awesome that I now use this around the world and in the book. April Dunford, a friend of mine in Toronto who is awesome. If you want to say hi to her, I would love you. It's April Dunford on Twitter, because she's awesome. She always gets a kick out of me talking about her all over the place. She actually hates it, but please Twitter. She tweets out, you remember that Twitter is just a venting session a lot of times? You see it all the time? You're all looking at the screen, stop it. Here, right here. All right. So you know Twitter's a vent, right? That's what we do. A lot of times we're, to the point now it's to a fault, we vent there first before going to the company. So it's kind of a little bit iffy like that. So we got to be careful in which way we go, which is why you should be monitoring, what people are saying anyways. So April had gotten on there and said, look, I got a problem. But remember, I don't think people are aggressive in nature. I think we're very passive in nature. The problem is we listen to the 1% of the angriest and the 1% of the happiest that we usually call stalkers. So we get the 1% on each side, but we never listen to the middle 98%, the ones who will never directly complain to us. We can give you 1-800 complaint lines and comment cards, but people in any industry will tell you that they barely get filled out. It's the middle 98%, which that's my favorite phrase of all time. It's everybody will never talk to you directly, but they will talk passively online. That's why we have to listen. Even if you don't want to use Twitter or you don't have a person that wants to put the time to it, at least listen. There's tools to listen out there and see what's being talked about, especially if you have a known brand anywhere. April says, you run a cafe, about 50% of your customers are working on laptops. You have one electrical outlet. I'm talking about you, Mr. Dark Horse. Dark Horse Cafe is one of a couple of cafes in Toronto. This one's on Spadina. So she just vents it, just in general. That's what April and a bunch of us do, so that's because how we roll. A buddy of mine, Justin, sees it a few minutes later and says, hey, Dark Horse, check it out, and sends the link to her tweet to them because he's stirring the pot. Hey, what do you think about this? April just said you're fat. What are you going to do about it? Right? Just stirring that pot up how he does it. Right? So they come back and say, hey, that's awesome. We're in the coffee business, not the office business. We have plenty of outlets to do what we need. Snap. Branding. Ta-da. But wait a second. What is it? What's here? What's here? You know what 3 dots mean? There's more. If you're going to get pissed publicly at a customer, do it in a 2-parter. Maybe you should just enjoy the cafe and take a break from your computer for a few minutes and enjoy the space you're in, young lady. And I'm watching this happen. Screenshot save, screenshot save, screenshot save. This is how it's going. April writes back, sorry I mentioned it. Sometimes I show people stuff on my computer over coffee. Please ignore the customer's feedback. Gee whiz. Much nicer than I would have been in my reply to them. This is all one day. It's all one afternoon. This is how it came about. So a lot of you guys don't have to deal with the local side of things, but you do have to deal with your name being thrown out there. And if you don't say anything, then it looks like you're ignoring it or not caring. It's actually worse to have a Twitter account and not monitor it every day than it is to not have one at all. If you have presence there, you need to be there. People say, well, I automate it. I use Twitter feed. Just links up our Facebook or Twitter. I'm good. I'm at both places. Stop it. Stop it. You can't automate authenticity. You can't have presence without being present. We have to stop it because our customers will smell it out, and then you'll look like a bigger jackass than you were before. And here's the question again, it's ROI. I leaned to this before. We don't understand the R or the I. We don't understand what the investment is because social media investment isn't all about the dollars. It's much more time. Social media is so much time-wise than dollars it is that we have to remember to justify it. And the return, I already told you this before. It's not only financial. I've gained financially. I've built up financially. But I've also got emotionally, and I've got friends, and I've got people, and I've got... Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you, man? All right. Good times. That's all good. So, the ROI is very, very, much more open than an affiliate agreement. Much more open than a payment system. There's so much more. I've gained... That's how Missy and I met. We met through Twitter. We met over music. We talked about AC/DC, I think we started as, right? I got to know Missy freaking Ward because we both dig Thunderstruck or something. Come on. She was one of my first Twitter meetings. We're down in Florida. We just went and hang out. How cool is that? I love Twitter because you can be at an arm's length a bit, but you can talk to each... It's like the unbrand. UnMarketing, unsee, unremove. You talk about anything, right? You talk about AC/DC, and I'd never talk about it anywhere else. She mentioned a song, I jumped on there, I'm like, oh, awesome tune. You get to know in a non-threatening manner. And by non-threatening, I mean we're not talking sales. We're not like you do at a conference. We're not talking business. So I get to know the person before I understand their business. That's the smart way to do it. Usually it's to get to know your business, and then you go out for dinner or drinks, you find out they actually are a person outside of that. I like it the other way around. I find out I'm interested in what you are or who you are, and then I want to find out, well, what do they do? That's a logical next step. I like this new first step, though. I like the arm's length and then leading. Don't be careful, though. Don't jump too many tiers when you want to meet somebody. The old Twitter in real life meeting. Remember, it's coffee, drink, lunch, dinner, bar night, then sleepover. Don't jump. I jumped. I jumped from Twitter to a Vegas sleepover, somebody bunking with me one year. We'll have drinks one day, I'll tell you all about it. Bad mistake. Snored like Zeus on a bender. I'll tell you all about it one day. Don't jump tiers, people, okay? That's my public service announcement from me to you, okay? So, you want to know my ROI on Twitter? This is my ROI on Twitter. I never have to justify Twitter ever again in my frickin' life. You see us last week? This is here. This is at the Hilton last week. That's Tanner. That's me in a tutu. This is tutus for Tanner. And we walked Central Park with them to raise money for muscular dystrophy. 2 days before that, we ran a tweet-a-thon, which some of you in this room contributed to, and I love you to death for that. And you know what we did on Twitter? A week and a half ago? Our goal was to raise $25,000 for Twitter's host to get renovated so it could be more accessible to them. And we raised $29,000, almost $30,000 from people on Twitter, just like that. I never have to justify Twitter to anybody ever again because people are awesome. And that's what Twitter proved to me, that people are awesome. Thank you. This is Twitter. I have that printed out beside my desk to show me the awesomeness of Twitter, of that number, of what people said. You know what? I do give a damn. That's so nice to remember because we forget it. That people are awesome. They actually give a damn once in a while, and they will stand up. If you guys saw the whole news in a week and a half ago where Air Canada breaks dying boy's wheelchair and it was all over the news, it's Tanner. That's us. We started up in New York City. We brought an airline down for crying out loud using Twitter. You're welcome. You can take it. You can do what you want. That's my ROI. That's what I need to see from now on because people care. It's so nice to remember that. We get so busy in talking about leads when they're actually people. And that's how that's how people can work. That's how these things can go through. So, the 2.0 world of affiliates, how do we get there? We've heard of social media and people taking Twitter and twit pics and videos, and how do we get on that? You're doing it wrong. Here's my example of doing it wrong. Ready? At the top there, that's me and Shannon. Shannon's my editor at Wiley. Okay? This is me 4 days ago, down somewhere over there, a few blocks away. She brought me my first copy of my book. I was peeing my pants. I was so excited. Can you see that? Actually, urinating right there. So, I'm so excited. And what happens here? You can't even see it. The comments below, this is a twit pic type of thing. It's not twit pic, it's one of the tweet photo. I think it's tweetphoto.com. I sent it out. People were excited. Everybody, 1,000 people read it. People say at the bottom, unreal, looking forward to getting my copy. Congrats. And then, look, sponsored comment. Refi rates at their 50-year low. Details, the details. Click. Stop it. Stop trying to ruin social media. Stop. Social media isn't a new way to send out crappy advertising. It's not a new way to put in your horrible return rate programs. Build the relationship in social media, then talk business somewhere else. This isn't the way to do it. Don't try to force it through there because you're ruining it. And like I said before, you're killing kittens. Please stop it. This is the biggest thing. I had mentioned it before, but publicized customer service to me changes your audience levels. We were talking about this at lunch with a couple of you. That it's no longer one-to-one customer service even. So if your affiliate program sucks or something's screwed up, it's no longer an angry email. It's an angry tweet. It's an angry Facebook update on your fan page. Dislike, click dislike, don't want to see that. And what do? Do you avoid it? Do you address it? Because everybody sees it. Even if that customer is wrong, you're wrong. And what do? Our attention to these things, our realization that it's real time. We have to do something about it. Here's an example of a great real-time save that I saw on Twitter. Watched it while I was getting a session ready for a conference to registrars of universities. This would happen the morning of. Tufts University, I think it's in Massachusetts, yes? Okay, they have 4 cafeterias, I think, yeah? Each cafeteria has their own Twitter account. Are you trying to justify using Twitter now? Each cafeteria has their own. You can't tell me you can't have one. Each pierogies this afternoon, 12 o'clock. That's what they do. Their entire focus in life is tweeting out the menu to their students every day. It's almost like a dictating Twitter account, but people sign up. That's okay. It's okay to do that if that's what they expect. But somebody gets on there and says, her name's Humble Beauty, by the way. That's kind of contradicted, don't you think? I've just eaten the most disgusting apple in the world. You know she's angry because she all-capped it. How do you grow something so horrible tasting? Get it together, Tufts Dining. Come on. I had a bad apple. Tufts replies, same morning. Sorry about the apple. Which location did you get it from, right? Diffusing it right away. Remember when people complain? Most of the time they're not looking for the resolution they want. They just want to be justified they're being heard. Yes? We've experienced this. We walk in there like, I demand the king of the world and a golden airplane to fly me wherever I want, when really you just want a voucher for like a free meal. But you're so pissed that you want to escalate it as high as you can. They nailed her. People, it's human nature. I don't care what industry you're in. Humans want to be heard and accepted and that they actually have a right to feel a way. So they jumped on there right away. And you know what she replied with? It's okay. I've just never had one that was so bad before. I got it from DeWick, which is one of their locations. You see the first 2 words of her reply? Oh, it's okay. It's diffused right away. And what do they say at the end? Thanks for the location info. Yes, it's fresh fruit, and sometimes they go bad, but we should catch it before it gets to you. You know what they could have said if they were, Dark Horse Cafe? Well, duh! We didn't grow the frickin' apple. We're a coffee shop, not an orchard. Jackass. Same situation though, right? Yes? Same as the coffee shop one. Somebody venting. Different way to handle it. You see the difference? Same frickin' thing. A little bit of intelligence, a little bit of patience. He even got a kind of a jab in there. Little jab in there at the end, but it was nice. Yes, they do go bad, you jackass. Probably deleted jackass out of there for a second. You know the great thing about this? I'm going to Boston on the book tour stop. I'm going to go see him. I get to go hang out with a guy who does their Twitter account because I want to meet him. And then I'm going to eat an apple and tweet about it. Your move. What are you going to do now? Here's it. This is probably the best kind of takeaway you want to remember right now. Is immediacy and relevancy. Thank you. Revelations. Everything is immediate and everybody's relevant. Think about that for a second. People with 50, 100 followers, 50 blog readers are relevant because things catch on. Everything is immediate and everybody's relevant. Corporations no longer control the message, even though they never did. We just now have a collective to get together and get it out there. I witnessed that again, I told you, a week and a half ago with Air Canada making an airline fix his wheelchair 20 times faster than anybody ever would have because of the pressure on there. And I'm talking about relevancy. I'm just going to show you. You don't have to read this whole thing. Let's give you an example. This is last year, last March. Here's the number of retweets in one day. That's me at number 6. 162 times I was retweeted. Below me, Obama. Yeah. Take that. I have to watch where I present. I presented in Texas a few months ago, and I put this slide up, and I said, Obama, hey. And the screen went blue. I didn't know my outlet wasn't plugged in properly, but it was so awesome. I went, I'm better than Obama on this one. Boo! Touche, President. Touche. Looking around. But this shows you that and this is when I didn't have, wasn't up to like 60,000 followers because my job was to be there. My job was to be so consistent on there that I would be there so much that you'd call the cops if I wasn't there. That was it. And I was away 2 days, like 6 months into it or something, and people were like, where is he? What's wrong? That's community, that's presence, that's consistency. That's what we have to do. People say, well, I don't have time. That's okay. You won't have the result. That's cool. Just understand one is correlated with the other. I wanted to make this happen. I didn't want to get a book deal because of it. I didn't want to get 6 figures in business because of it. It just happened because I believe in the network of it. There's a difference between those things. And that's the one. Look for it in the bookshelves. It's awesome. And all because of Twitter. I'm totally marketing the UnMarketing book. How ironic and contradictory is that? So, but that doesn't happen without Twitter. Shannon, my editor, was following me for 4 months before this, before she called me up. Then I went back and said, what the hell did I say over the past 4 months? Was something wrong? And the phone call was simply this: Scott, hey, we've seen you on Twitter, we read your blog, why haven't you written a book yet? And I returned with, why haven't you called me yet for a book? And we both said touche, and we went from there. And a couple weeks from now, it's coming out. So that's pretty freaking awesome. What's another thing you have to remember, too, about social media? Facebook relies so much on this presumed relevancy. A term I first heard from Jay Bayer, who is awesome, writes a Convince and Convert blog. Say hi to Jay Bayer for me if you can, B-A-E-R on Twitter. He is wicked. Also has a book coming out next year. Don't we all? Presumed relevancy is very simple. Facebook changed their whole thing to where if you have a group page or your personal page, the more people that comment and like on that status update, the more it gets pushed into the main feed of everybody. So your job, if you run a company page or fans, whatever the hell it's called now on Facebook, your job is to get as many people to react to it and engage with it as possible. And setting up an RSS feed to blast out your blog across Facebook and Twitter, not going to do it so often. Engage with people, interact with people. Is Facebook is your bag? Great. Talk to people on it. It's not a glorified RSS feed, or it shouldn't be. It can be. You can do whatever the hell you want. But if you want reactions, you want people, I'd go that way. Be careful of automation. Please, please, please. We don't have a lot of time. We got to automate it. I call it Mannequin Networking. That's why there's mannequins on there. It's like going to like 5 networking events and putting a mannequin with your logo in each one saying, we're here, and then running out the door. We have presence. We are in the room. Just so you all know. Just don't talk to it. You've seen those accounts, right? You've seen those accounts where they dictate all day, and people are talking to them, and they're just like, nope, not replying back. Thanks for coming. That's what that is. It's mannequin networking. And the thing about networking is hilarious, because people, like even seasoned, angry dudes who've been in the business for like 50 years get networking events. They understand it, right? It's talking to people. That's what Twitter is. But when I say Twitter, they're like, I don't get it. It's the same thing, except you don't have to drive anywhere, and you can't be cornered by the creepy dude with scotch online. Unless you are the, if you've never seen the creepy dude at a networking event, you're the creepy dude. I'm just saying. I'm going to put that out there, okay? I've been in it on occasion, don't worry. I don't like a lot of networking events, to be honest. It's actually the rooftop event that Share Sale did for this was probably one of the first events I actually liked going to. And it's because the people there, right? You know, open bar makes it easier, but the people that were there were awesome. The environment was awesome. The only few ones I ever actually went to I liked. Now, if there was unfollow or block buttons on people at events, I would go more. Hey, how are you? Yeah, no, great, you're a douchebag. Bink, unfollow, and they just disappear. I'll go to many more events if that ever happens. But automation is dangerous. Now, if you send out one scheduled tweet once, because you've linked it to your blog, I know some of you here are doing this, look, oh, come on, man. Let me have this. If you have one automated thing that sends your blog post out because it's done, fine. But really, are you too busy? Are you too busy to write 100 characters about your blog post? Who are you, Gandhi? Are you walking across a continent right now that you can't take the time to tweet out a 100-character tweet about your blog post? Not to mention the automated tweet about your blog post is ridiculous. UnMarketing blog, _, sideways arrow, new post, _, sideways dash, and cut off title. Come on. Write one specifically for Facebook, write one specifically for Twitter, and then send them out. I don't have time. You aren't that important. You want it passed around? Do you want it consumed? Then take the 12 seconds it takes to write it. It's not that hard. We make ourselves way more important than we should be. Okay, and one of the last things I want to talk about here is dealing with trolls. My old school folks in the room, my IRC people. Who was IRC in here? Anybody did IRC back in the day? Yeah, you know you did, right? Good to see you guys. Good. Just tell me what rooms and what ops you were back then. They used to hop onto IRC chat rooms and say something about your mom. They jump in and go, I slept with your mom last night. You're like, oh, damn you. Right? And their whole job is to get a rise out of you, right? Well, trolls are even, exponentially more around now. Twitter, Facebook, they'll jump on a Facebook status. They'll take a dig at you, okay? They'll say something to you, something like this. Am I the only one that finds UnMarketing an annoying, blabbermouth, self-prophetic ass? I don't like this guy. Not because he called me that, because I don't know what self-prophetic meant. And I had to go look it up. And then he wasn't that wrong. It's fairly true, what he had said. But his whole point, you know why he's doing that, right? He just wants to get a rise out of you. He's in his mom's basement somewhere, covered in peanut butter. He's running out of hand lotion. He needs to find something else to do. Bring it, trolls. So, this is what he does. You know what I did here? I blocked him after writing a blog post about him. I blocked him after that. Don't give your emotions to people like that. There's so many great people on Twitter, online, and in real life to give your emotions to than people like this. In all ways of life and everywhere you go, there's so many supportive people, but it's human nature that we just look at the bad, right? Right? It's like here, if I looked at all my speaking, kind of my evaluations after the session, like 99% of people go, that was pretty good. One person's like, that sucked. I'll be like, oh, come on! And I'll be weeping on the way home, and customer's like, what's wrong? He didn't like me. Why are we so concerned about people we don't care about? They hate you so much that all they do is talk about you? They love you. Haters love you. Remember that, okay? And so when they write, maybe you should drop the "un" from your name and start marketing. For some reason, I find your tweets boring and without substance. So I originally typed back, yeah, I find your mom boring without substance. I then deleted it, but damn, it was a good one. I almost did it just so I could do the screenshot of it. And then I just blocked him. It's okay to just block and walk away. Because this guy with 12 followers, nobody sees his tweet. If I reply back to him, I open up my world to him. And that's why they're doing it half the time. They're sad and they're lonely. And they look like this. It is. It's me. I have that picture printed beside my computer. So I remember when a troll comes at me, it's all Sparky over there, Chet in his mom's basement. Or it's this guy. You see how many pop collars he's got? That's 4 pop collars. Do you ever have to justify yourself to 4 pop and collar, dude? Never. Ever, ever. Don't justify yourself. Everybody, thank you so much for having me. Thanks for coming for your affiliate summit. I appreciate it. Questions? Questions, concerns? Yes, ma'am. So the question is, I automated following back before. Now I still do go out and follow new people. The way I follow new people now is like anybody really else. If I see a retweet from somebody I know or trust, I'm going to read it. If I like the tweet, I'm going to go check the person out. And what is the first thing you look at when you go to their page? Their picture, their bio, and their most recent tweets. Always remember that. So if their picture is of the Twitter bird logo, because they haven't put their picture up, it's not going to go for me. That's why I don't like company logos as Twitter pictures. I connect with faces, not logos. Right? I know you got your logo. You said it. And thank you for coming, too. I appreciate that. Any other questions? Yes, sir. So what do you do if you can't ignore the troll? If they're a paying customer, or something, a lot of times they are. They could be. What do you do? It gets to a point sometimes that you got to fire the customer. It's hard. Sometimes you can't. Giant. Yeah, but a long time ago. You know what? At the end of the day, 99% of people are lurking. They're watching and they won't react, but they see what you do, and they can see you taking the high road on your Facebook page or on Twitter. That person just looks like a jackass. And although nobody's gonna get on there and go, "You're right," they are watching. Majority of people always lurk. I'm sure a lot of people here lurk. Even blog posts, like I average 100 comments per post I do. The highest is like 250 on one post, usually when I get mad at somebody. And the least is like 40, it's the lowest. But I look at my stats, 4%, 3 to 4% of my readers comment, which is, I think it's pretty good. But 96% of people don't. Always remember that. They're watching. You're making your company look good if you don't take the bait. Now, if they have there's a difference between being a troll and having real criticism or a complaint, right? But you know where the person goes as a troll. You know the route they go. And when I had a guy do this a month ago, a guy I know in Toronto, come on, we're Canadian. We're supposed to be friendly. And he tweets out, and without my name at the start, so everybody sees it, I should get a medal. I just watched UnMarketing speak for 10 minutes and didn't shoot myself in the head. Why would you say that? I wrote back, I went, man, I know him. Thanks, Dad. I know. Wasn't my dad. I said, why the hate? And in the public, because I know him. He wrote back, he goes, it's not hate, it's constructive criticism. You can't take it? I'm like, no. That's being an asshole. That's not being constructive criticism. Understand that, okay? So we gotta see where it's coming from. Most hate and most things like that are actually directed at the person themselves. But taking the high road is always the best bet to do. I like smacking them once in a while, but taking the high road is the best. I had somebody a week and a half ago challenge to come down and fight me in New York City. What is this, West Side Story? When you're a jet, you're a jet. You know, it's just like, I'm not gonna, seriously, you wanna come down and fight me? He wrote a tweet out that said, to somebody else who retweeted one of my things. It's great, by the way, when somebody bashes somebody for retweeting me, that you hate me so much, you wanna be me. So he replies back to the guy who retweeted something I said, and replies back to both of us. I think UnMarketing's jumped the shark, which if you don't know is that Happy Days when Fonzie jumped the shark with his bike, which you knew Happy Days was over. It's a term for being tired and old and out. And I wrote back to it, I said, son, I haven't even warmed up my motorcycle for my first practice run yet. And then I went into one of the parties last weekend at Blog Her, which was 2,000 women and me. And I went away, and I came back out, and he had 15 tweets, more angry than the last, about driving from North Carolina to fight me on the streets of New York City. What am I, Wesley Snipes? What are we gonna throw down? Like, it's great I don't get it. So I wrote back, I said, dude, I thought you were kidding. You win 3 internets. I don't know. What do you, +2 to you? And he wrote back and goes, yeah, I guess I do win. I'm like, what just happened here? So I was actually sitting in front of the Hilton with this look on my face. What's going on? So if you saw a perplexed man with one hand squeezing his eye, that was me last weekend in front of the hotel. So the high road's the best answer I can give. Good, only a couple minutes. Any other questions? Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
What are the best tools that you recommend using, like the tweet stats and things, when you start to scale and you need to manage and kind of watch at a higher level?
But what tools do you get when you start to grow quite a bit? If it wasn't for TweetDeck on my laptop and Uber Twitter on my BlackBerry, I would have been gone from Twitter a long time ago. I need those columns. I need that sorting. I need to keep up, especially on replies or mentions of the company, and direct messages too. And the DMs, probably for me, DMs is so overwhelming because of how many people I followed originally. I get hit a lot. And if it's somebody I know, if I know you and you DM me and say, can you send this out or help me with this? I will do it in a second. I will do anything for a friend of mine. And I will do nothing for somebody I don't know and didn't research me. Some guy, I have one guy who will only tweet me in public when he's about to ask me something on a DM. He'll say, hey man, how's your day? And I go, 3, 2, 1, DM. Can you talk about my blog post about the iPod Developers Conference? Stop it. I don't talk about that. I don't write about it. But if you're a friend of mine, I'll do it. If Missy asks me to do anything, I'll do it. Because Missy rules. But if any of these people ask me to do anything that I built up, and I know people in this room, if you guys said anything, I will do it. Why? Because we built a friendship before you ask for anything, and that's both ways. Friends rule, and haters don't. So, yes, sir.
I don't know if I missed it, but Jack Kawasaki gets a lot of retweets by doing like cool stuff and stuff. What is the content of your stuff that makes it so retweetable?
Guy Kawasaki does a bunch of different things. I don't think we can ever use his model for us because he's Guy Kawasaki. So he can do anything he wants and it'll get retweeted and sent around. You gotta be careful. He agrees with automation a lot. I don't, so we don't get along that well. But it's just the content and what I think my audience will like. So my job is to retweet other links, other blog links, but especially for me, it's like a 5 to 6 to 1 or 10 to 1 sometimes of other people's blog links than mine. I don't know how many times I've linked to Outspoken Media and told them to, every time I see a great post from Lisa or from Ray or from anybody else on there, my job is to go to these 10 blogs that I love because I know I'll get great content from them. Some people say go to Dig and see what the best submissions are and go tweet those. I think that's cheating a bit if you don't give credit to Dig first. Like I know people who use a system just go to Dig or Reddit or something else and say, well, here's the top ones, and they make it their own link, like they found it. Give credit where it's due. It's a small world, and we'll find this out. I think my time's up. Again, thank you so much, everybody, and thank you for having me down here.